Magandang gabi po, Mayor. Ito po si Sas. Una po sa lahat, Mayor, maraming salamat po for being a president who continued the anti-colonial nationalist struggle of our national heroes before. So ang tanong ko po, Mayor, ay dahil sa nabanggit ninyo na it would still take at least 2 or 3 generations bago po natin matanggal ang presensya ng Amerika sa ating bansa at sa ating politika. Ano po ang inyong maipapayo sa mga tao ngayon at sa mga kabataan at sa susunod pang henerasyon upang po sila ay magkaroon ng isang mentalidad na talagang may isa sa puso ang anti-colonial mindset at maging isang tunay na nasyonalista?
Well, okay, my friend, it's a very good question. It's a nice one. Itong psyche, the Filipino psyche, vis-a-vis with America's influence, it existed because of the 50 years that they planted dito sa ano. Yung psychology na yan, pass on to generation after generation. Because in between kasi, nagkaroon tayo ng problema. But the most part of it actually was yung Second World War, which was not of our own making. As a matter of fact, kung wala lang yung Amerika dito, I do not think that Japan would have conquered the country or would come here to fight against us and the American. So, but you know, sad to say, hindi naman kasi lahat nakapag-aral ng, frankly, you have to have a good learning of history. At sa amin, counted from my father, and even my parents, frankly, pro-Americans yan sila. Ngayon, ako, because nagbabasa rin ako, so I would start to wonder why, if we are Filipinos, why were we under Spain, and then reading the misdeeds of these two countries done to us. It was kind of AB pa ako, trying to realize. Then hearing the nationalist guys, Tanyada, Sison, and all, sila Francisco Lava, Lansang, I realized that tama nga naman. So by the time that I was ripe to craft my own opinion about life and about my country, I've come to realize that things came to pass because of this success and that. Now, to remove that colonial mentality, because until now, whether you would agree with me or not, basta USA, American brand, okay talaga sa Pilipino yan. The best yan. Made in China, wala yan. Sirain. Ganon ang mentality. Even though na yung quality ng kakain ng Taiwan, the products of Taiwan talagang maganda. Number one, ang Amerika does not, walang, hindi nang ano yan ng mga refrigerator. Ang Amerika, the industry of America is a war machine. You know, if you stop the wars, America would grind to a halt. Because ang economy nila is driven by a war called war. If there is no war, there is no more planes to build, ships to whatever structure there. Yun ang economy nila. Yun ang pinagbibili nila eh. Mga eroplano, ganun. Kaya kailangan natin yan because there is a war going on. How is this promoting the war? I don't know. I'm not prepared to say it's America. But as I have said, kung nasaan yung Amerika, trouble is always there. Maghanap pa dito sa buong mundo. Look at Ukraine. Ukraine, about 6 years ago, I was reading a Time magazine. Ukraine was connected, umbilical cord ng Russia. But as late as or as early as 7 years ago, meron na silang US troops na ka-station doon. 7,000. I remember that because I was reading Time magazine. Doon nakalagay yan. So, it started with an irritation sa mga neighboring countries, including Russia. Ang Amerika, military presence in another country is not really good. As a matter of fact, it should not be done. Huwag kang magpalagay dyan ng armado ng ibang bansa. Eh kung gano'n ka, that started until Putin realized that yung thin line of borders niya between Ukraine, magkadikit talaga sila. Putin somehow surmised, maybe wrongfully or rightfully, the American influence would overrun across Ukraine country. At eventually, magkaroon ng base yung American right beside the doorstep of Russia. Hindi na siya kailangan magpapunta ng missile doon kasi yung lahat ng base niya tatamaan na kaagad nila. So it's part of the strategy of a defense of a nation. But if you do it in such a way that you create chaos, trouble, wars, small wars here and there, it becomes a troubled world. And somehow, there has to be an explanation for all of this. What is the explanation? Then we go exploring. And you need not really go far. It's all about colonialism. And it's all about subjugation of other countries before pa sa ating mga tatay. Otherwise, we would not have this kind of utap. Left alone, sana we were fighting a civil war, maybe Aguinaldo and the forces of Bonifacio, okay lang yun. The power belongs to the winner. Kung sino lang, at least Filipino. Naglaki tayo Pilipino, maski pobre, we might not have the luxury of the technology that was passed on by the Americans and by others in so many generations. But it's hard to knock it out from the head of the average Filipino. Our children must have a must until such time na kapag-aral yung mga anak natin lahat, given the opportunities of good education, and given time, the opportunity to study the history of the Philippines and of the world, then they become conscious of what happened. And maybe by that time, they could present to their country something which is really native to us. But it takes time kasi lahat hindi namang magandang edukasyon. poor and rich. Ganon yan eh. So, but kung maangat natin yan, ma-educate natin lahat, including yung mga anak na mahirap, but we would have a good education and good study of mathematics, history, whatever. And they would be equipped with an intellect that can understand why ganito ang buhay natin.
Pastor,
Yes.
paisa lang po, pero bago ang lahat, Pastor, maraming salamat po sa opportunity po na
Yes.
ito na makapagtanong po at participate sa napaka-importanting discussion
Yes.
na ito sa ating bayan. Maraming thank you, Pastor. At ito po ang last question ko, Mayor. Sir, you are one of the Asian leaders who have been considered to be really fighting for the cause of anti-colonialism. Now our region, the Asian region, is facing another war that would be launched possibly by, the former colonizers of Asia, the West. Do you think it's about time for Asian leaders to band together and actually realize the real meaning of Asian solidarity?
That's another beautiful question. Kaya sabi ko, yung trip ni President Marcos sa Indonesia is the ASEAN Summit. It's a yearly thing. It comes in a regular space. Doon mo makita ang mabasa mo yung yung utak ng mga what's inside the gray matter between the ears, kung ano yung pinag-isip nila dito sa ating region. And I hope that the President, I said I would not want to lecture on him, if he would listen, he would realize that your question can be answered in that forum. Nandoon lahat, they're all progressive and lahat doon, Malaysia, dumaan ng colonial days. So, makikita mo yung the clash of, but mostly, the progressive minds have prevailed in that forum. So I hope that the President will just listen and somehow formulate whatever he thinks is the best for our country. I am not, I do not criticize him. I do not want to lecture on him, having been a president myself. But itong akin, I am not really forced. But may be not compelled, but for being a Filipino, I have to air my views and maybe my grievance, although long time in coming, because the realities of the world now were formulated long time ago by the colonials. Kaya nagkaganito yung utak natin and in Southeast Asia. So, most of the countries in that forum nagkaroon ng colonial past. We suffered the same trauma.
Sas, do you have any follow-up question?
Ayun na lang po, maraming salamat po, Mayor, once again, sa pagiging isang presidenteng anti-colonial at nationalista. I think you were a breath of fresh air to Philippine politics during those 6 years. At sana patuloy po kayong magsalita tungkol sa struggle na ito. At thank you rin po, Pastor Apollo Kibuloy, sa pagkakataong ito. Good night po sa inyo.
Yes, thank you very, very much.
Well,
I really appreciate
yes.
your everything. And for everything, I am forever may gratitude. It's always there.
Thank
Tandaan
you.
natin.